Right now, let's check in. It's Cottle's Corner. Head coach Dave Cottle joins us from the Bayhawks. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Scotty. How are you?
Good. So what is this? Win one, lose one, win at home, lose on the road? What happened this week?
It sure looks that way.
Yeah.
As a player, and as a coach, you want to bring the 3 E's with you: effort, enthusiasm, and execution. And we left all 3 of them at home. Mm-hmm. And I think that, we're at a point now that we think we could turn it on and off. And right now, we're not good enough to turn it on and off. And, I think our players understand where we are now. And I have a feeling we're going to see a much better effort this Saturday.
I read some of your post-game comments, 12-7 loss to Charlotte on the road, talking about, you don't have the offensive chemistry so far. You're having trouble with the face-offs. How do you get better in those areas?
Well, we drafted a guy in a face-off. We just traded for a guy. We'll have to see if a change in personnel will improve that. The chemistry part, we're at a point where we're either hitting a home run or a strikeout. Mm-hmm. And we just got to trust each other to the point that when we dodge, if we throw the ball, throw 2 passes, we think we're going to get it back. And right now we don't have that trust that we're going to get the ball back, so we take a lot of chances that probably we shouldn't.
Yeah, talk to us about your goalkeeper, Kip Turner. Is your lack of offense, is it hurting him, in essence, with how many shots on goal he's taken?
Yeah, there's, like they say in sports, whether it be football or basketball or lacrosse, good offense lends itself to good defense. And the same thing happens with bad offense. And when you're taking bad shots, the ball's getting over the top, and you're playing a lot of transition defense, and that's what's happened to us right now. I think Kip has played admirably well. I think we have to do a better job in front of him, and if we can create fewer opportunities from the offensive end, from bad possessions and turnovers, you're going to see his save percentage is already pretty good, but the goals allowed will go down.
Head coach Dave Cottle with us on the Fan, head coach of the Chesapeake Bayhawks, at home this weekend, and doesn't get any easier, right? Casey Powell and the Florida Launch coming to Annapolis.
Well, it's amazing. Casey, he's playing an attack for them this year. He had 5 goals, 5 out of their 10 in their last game. I think he's the leading scorer in the league right now. So he and Kevin Cunningham and Kevin Crowley, who was the Offensive Player of the Year, they got some outstanding players. And we're going to have to play extremely well in order to win. And it's a team we played 3 times last year, so we kind of have an idea who they are. They're just Hamilton, Canada, moved south. And Stan Ross, a former Loyola player and Towson assistant, and a Navy assistant is the head coach. Jimmy Stagnita, former Rutgers head coach, is helping them out. So they'll be well prepared, and we're going to have to play our best game of the year right now to be successful.
What poll do you put on Casey Powell?
I think Casey will be Michael Evans. That'll be his responsibility. I think Michael's done a good job so far, and he'll play Casey, and then we'll probably have, if we can get Jesse Bernhardt back from the Maryland Bryant game, I think we'll get Jesse to play Kevin Cunningham, and so the third guy we're going to try to figure out who's going to play him right now. They started Kieran McCardle last week from St. John's, so. Those matchups, Michael's played Casey before and done a good job, and Jesse's played Kevin Cunningham the last time we played him. So we feel comfortable if we have those matchups.
Yeah, I'm a big trend guy, and Scott threw him out there already. So after the next 2 games, you guys should be above 500. You get the Launch and Machine at home. Tell us about the upcoming game against the Launch.
Well, I think Florida, right now they were a team that won face-offs last week against Ohio. But the week before, they had gotten killed facing off against Charlotte. I tell you, the thing about the Florida Launch that is the most impressive is they really dominated in the fourth quarter. And, I thought the Charlotte game, that Charlotte kind of outplayed them, but Florida found a way to win in the fourth quarter, made the plays when they had to. And if you look at the score against the Ohio Machine, they won the fourth quarter 4-2 to win a 10-9 game. So they've been mentally tough when they've been put in pressure situations, and it's a team you respect.
Dave, not just your team, but around the league, where is conditioning in the early part? I mean, are your guys getting better each week as far as conditioning, or do they come in pretty good shape, ready to run?
Typically, they come in pretty good shape. That's an area that I think we need improvement on, and you pull some guys off from the indoor, and the indoor is a lot shorter distance, and you go from running on a hard surface to running on a grass field as we did in Charlotte. So, I think conditioning is something that if, you can get practice on Wednesday, you can run them a little bit, and and Fridays it's tough to run them. So we just have to make our Wednesday practices. We have to get a little bit more out of them than we have in the past.
Hey, I want to ask you about opening round of the NCAAs. The 2, 3, 4 seeds are all out. I think of the top 8 seeds, 4 of them went down. So pretty interesting opening round, right?
Well, when the 8 seed loses, that's an 8-9 game. That's of all the games, that's the one that probably should lose. You thought, Quinn caught a lot of grief because he thought that the Ivy League wasn't a 3-team bid, and all 3 of their teams lost. But probably the most depressing part is for the ACC fans.
Yeah.
That Syracuse, North Carolina, and Virginia go down. And so it's not just the Ivy League that was struggling; it's also the ACC a little bit. But you kind of like how this thing is opened up for. You've actually got a chance, which would be very cool for a Hopkins-Maryland final in Maryland. And
that'd be pretty neat.
I think that would do wonders for the crowd.
Hey, Loyola got upset by Albany, and the Twins there. They're pretty special players, aren't they?
Boy, I tell you, the 2 older ones, the seniors, I think they're very, very good players. That junior one, Lyle, he's the one that, next year if you got a pick available when it's time to come up, he's something special. And he could carry, he could run a little bit better than the other boys, and he's so charismatic with the ball and his stick. He's a world-class player.
Cottle's Corner here on the Geico Hotline on the Scott Garceau Show, talking to Dave Cottle. Of the matchups, which one do you think is the most intriguing here? And as we look at these, the games coming up.
Well, for Maryland, the Maryland-Bryant game are 2 teams that have great face-off guys and great goalers. You just got to think that, that if Maryland does things the right way, that they got a little bit more, and Maryland's a much better defensive team than Syracuse is. So I definitely like Maryland in that game. And, Hopkins plays Duke, correct? I think that's who they play. Hopkins plays Duke.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
That's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I tell you what, when you watch Hopkins play, they went to kind of a motion offense and play your defender on defense and get away from them. And they the other day against Virginia, I thought in the first 5 minutes that Hopkins was going to get run off the field. And then, they got a chance to ride a little bit, and Hopkins had a great game plan for the ride, and they wind up intercepted a ball and thrown it in the open goal. And from that point forward, Hopkins played some of the best offense I've seen a team play all year. I was really impressed with them because I don't think it wasn't a Virginia laid an egg. Hopkins played great. And they really played well on offense and very organized, and they're always solid on defense. But this new offense, these kids they're the perfect pieces for what they're trying to accomplish. So that's a game that could go either way, too. I think Duke's been hurt by losing Luke Dupree at the pole, but, they move the ball very well. So that's going to be a great game to watch. And then you've got Denver's Drexel. I think Denver's in a good spot there against Drexel. It'll be competitive and tough, but I think Denver will wind up getting it. And who's the last game?
Albany. Yeah.
Albany. It's funny because Notre Dame, and Kevin's done this before, Coach Corrigan, Notre Dame made an adjustment in the middle of the Maryland game where they just decided to run from defense to offense because they were really struggling scoring. And their shorties and their pole are pretty charismatic. And all of a sudden, Notre Dame starts scoring a lot more goals. And they're probably not as solid in the goal as they've been the last couple of years, so now they've found a way to score. So that's a game, that's a good game, but, you kind of like the path that's in front of Maryland, and I think they got a great chance.
Mm-hmm. Dave, we won't talk to you again before the Preakness. That California Chrome story is a pretty good one, isn't it?
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? 77-year-old man, a former jockey, gets a horse of a lifetime out of a $2,500 stallion.
Pretty good deal.
And a brood mare that sold for $20,000 and never produced a winner. So it's an incredible story. I thought the horse got a perfect trip last time.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be some other guys taking a shot, but congrats. Like you say, Scotty, it's a great story. And I will say the fastest horse in Maryland the next weekend or whatever will be that the filly. She untappable was the fastest horse in Kentucky that weekend. She ran a much better figure than all the colts did in the Derby, if she decides to race against these Colts, she'd be a real factor in the race.
Obviously. So Saturday night, Florida launch, Navy Marine Corps Stadium. What is it, 7 o'clock face-off?
Yes, it is. 7 o'clock face-off, and we get all those Preakness people to come on down. It should be a lot of fun.
There you go, doubleheader day. Thanks, Dave. Good luck this week.
All right, Scotty.
All right, head coach Dave Cottle of the Bayhawks. They're 1-2 off to a little slow start. Two-time defending champions. We should point that out, but he'll get them going in the right
Sure,
direction.
Dave Cottle agrees with Jacoby.
What do you say?
Damn